Welcome back to Awkward Insurance. Well, this is the final episode.
That's awkward.
Woo! Just as with the end of each season, Mac is here. What's up, Mac?
Hi, Dustin.
And our first ever interviewed guest, though she wasn't the first episode, she was the first interviewed guest and our current co-host, Ashley Fitzsimmons, is here today too. What's up, Ash?
Just living the dream.
What kind of dream? The nightmare kind, or?
Well, actually, no, now it's kind of a nightmare because this is ending, but it's okay.
That's okay. So here we are. I'm not really sure. I know where we're going with this episode. I mean, obviously, we're ending an era, in my opinion, but I don't really know kind of the direction or the process of this particular episode. So we're just going to wing it. Y'all ready?
Let's do it.
You feeling okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling nervous. Like huge ball of weirdness going on over here, but we'll figure it out. All right, let's start off with the season. Right now we're in season 6, which we focused on job roles. We've had a lot of seasons. Did we have themes for every season, Mac? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did. I think we had themes for like half of the seasons.
For some of the seasons. A lot of it was just randomness. It started off with, oh my gosh, just people I knew in the industry, like 10 minutes down the road from me. And then there was Ashley and like had no idea. And I was like, I'm starstruck, Ashes, the Beyonce of insurance. No, anyways, let's go on with season 6. We had season of job roles. We explored a lot this season. We started off with Clear Speed. We had a realtor. Ash brought in a realtor. We talked about a lot of things that go on between insurance professionals and realtor and getting that client to close. It was really funny at the end of that one. Thomas was like, oh, there's a lot of things that I learned in this. I was like, that's the point. Yay. Mark Olson, he was with Hippo, and I loved having him on. Ashley blushed having him on.
I wasn't on that one.
You weren't on that one, but the first time you met Mark, he's the doppelganger of, help me out here.
Yeah, Jim from The Office.
Jim from The Office. We had a lot of job roles. Mac, what was your favorite, I don't know, episode, memory, interaction for season 6?
I don't know if it counts as a job role, but I really liked all the Vegas stuff.
Okay, let's talk about Vegas. What happens in Vegas is supposed to stay in Vegas.
Then we shouldn't have brought recording equipment.
Well played.
So true. That was good. What was your favorite thing about Vegas, other than the fact that it was basically like an adult Disney World for me? I say that only because the hotels were themed and they were very connected and you could walk through them without ever setting foot on the ground. But what I saw going outside those walls on the ground, I did not want any part of that. So I stayed within the walls of the connectedness of the hotels. But it felt like I stayed at the Luxor, which is a big pyramid. And so going in there and seeing the sphinxes and how everything was decorated, it felt like Disney World themed hotels. It was awesome.
The whole place kind of felt themed and Disney World-ish, but I liked that.
Yeah, I did too. But what was your favorite? What about Vegas?
I liked some of the videos we got to do, and I liked running into Garrett, running into Jacob.
That's where Jacob became our unofficial conference correspondent. Dang it, if we didn't have more conferences to go to for him to fully play out his role. I heart Jacob Galecki. Yay.
We all do.
Okay, yay.
But it was fun to like see people we kind of built up relationships with and get to hang out with them in that wild space-themed event.
I agree. It kind of, I don't know, especially now hindsight, seeing that was our last conference. It's pretty surreal that we had an established presence, right? That people would come up and want to take pictures. And yeah, I agree. That's a pretty good way to end our conferencing for Awkward Insurance. I like it.
Yeah.
Ash, what's your favorite awkward moment or whatever of season 6?
Man, awkward from this season?
Now, I'm not going to call you out too much, but you may or may not have been a little absent this season.
I know. That's why I don't really know if I can pick one from this season.
Well, we'll get to all-time favorites here in a little bit. It's totally awkward and okay if you don't have a favorite from this season. We can hate our own episodes too. No,
I don't
just
hate
kidding.
them. No,
I didn't say that. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Oh, let me think about mine. I really did. You know what, Mac? I'm going to take it back to Vegas too. The stuff that we got at Vegas was truly just friendships, man. Shoot, Alex DePazzo was on the recordings that we got, and he was freaking awesome. Chris Klein with the big eye, that was really fun to hang out with him. Ooh, Wesley Pergament. I don't think I've ever had more fun. Every time I go to a conference and I run into him, the dude is just amazing to me to begin with. To be so young and to be a company and to have started up a company and be a CEO and be so proud of not only his successes but his failures at the same time. And just to hear what he's doing with Sola Insurance is freaking phenomenal. And I will be a cheerleader of Wes for I think the rest of my life. I will be an unofficial salesperson of his product because I think it's amazing from an insurance standpoint. But I don't know if it's a favorite moment as much as let me tell you a little story. Arkansas I Day was the Arkansas Insurance Commissioner's restarting of Insurance Day in Arkansas. And we took awkward there and it was awesome. And it was completely awkward to ask for an interview with the FBI. There was an FBI speaker there that that was talking about cyber and cyber threats and really cool shit. And I wanted to interview her. And that's all well and good until you're sitting at your desk and your phone rings and it says FBI on it. And you forget that you asked for an interview with the FBI and you're thinking, what the did I do?
Oh my gosh.
And you pick it up and you're like this, hello, hi. And they're like, hi, my name is so-and-so from the FBI. And is this Dustyne Bryant? I'm like, maybe. I have no idea should I get my lawyer on the phone first? I don't know what's going on. You requested an interview with Tanya Sabalator, and I was like, oh, thank God. Like, oh, this is going to be fine. But I also can't tell you that every single time the FBI needed to call back to check some details about our podcast and whether or not we were affiliated with any political things, what we were going to ask and all that my heart still skipped a beat every single daggone time. So it's fine. But no, it's really awesome. Tanya is amazing. I found out that my husband and Tanya are connected just by way of their professions, which my husband has been a law enforcement officer for almost 20 years. And now he works on the federal law enforcement side, which is really awesome. But he had lots of contacts with her. So it was really cool to be like, hey, do you know my husband? Because that's my in. Like, you need to know me because you know my husband, 7 degrees to Scotty Bryant is how that worked out. But even more amazing is we were also able to talk her into a webinar in April. It has nothing to do with the insurance side of cyber threat and liability or any of that, but some freaking awesome information between the FBI and a government agency named CISA. Don't get me to say what that is, but it is CSIA. I'm sure you can Google it and it'll be fine. And how they support small businesses through cybersecurity and the free tools and the free assessments that CISA can offer in order for small businesses, in my perspective, which would be small insurance agencies, even companies like the Alliance that need maybe some coaching in cybersecurity. They'll come in and they'll do this whole assessment where they'll show you what the threats are. And then what you can do to do that. I think that's amazing. So we were able to get her set up for a webinar that I think would really benefit some folks. So I was really excited to meet the freaking FBI and now to be like, I got the number of the FBI. It's going to be cool.
Wait, I'm calling a timeout for a second. Mac, do you agree or disagree with my following statement? Because it is the last episode, I feel like Dustyne is being a little spicy today. She doesn't typically curse. Usually that's held for me.
I noticed it.
Okay.
Oh, no. Okay. Dial it back.
No,
No.
Dustyne Bryant.
You should have dialed it up seasons ago.
You say that. Okay, so that was fun. I really enjoyed being able to make those connections this season. I think we got a lot of good stuff out of our job roles. We've got a couple, never mind, scratch that. Because I was going to say, we've got a couple more episodes to release, but my mindset isn't in the right place at the moment. So we're just gonna, we got some great stuff going on. Mac, you're going to have some fun editing on this. All right, Mac. Let's start the wind down on Awkward Insurance.
Okay.
Final season, last episode. You've got all the stats, my friend. So let's get down. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with how many episodes?
Okay, so we've got 89 episodes, including this one.
Okay. Could we have not put one more in
I was going to
there
say,
to
I
make
think we just need to record one more really fast.
Oh my God. How can we end on an odd number? This is awful.
That's awkward.
It is awkward. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so 89 total episodes over how much time? Almost, I guess, 4.5 years?
October 22nd, 2020.
Jeez, that's insane. So just a little over 4 years. That's crazy. All right, 89 total published. Let's talk about top 10 episodes. What do we got? Do we want to start from the top or the bottom? 10 going up or 1 going down?
Let's start from 10 going down.
Going up.
Going up.
But really, you're going down in the number.
Going up to number 1, but going down if you're in an elevator, Ash. Mac, let's go.
Number 10
Number 10.
is Cheerleaders Produce.
Nice! That's Wes Dyson's episode. He is my insurance BFF, brother from another mother, I guess you could say. We grew up in insurance together. He is a University of Central Arkansas former cheerleader, and he's freaking awesome. So I'm so excited to hear that he is still in the top 10 because he was like number 1 for the longest time. That was weird. Ashley, in that one, we talked about the spicy text message that he sent me one night that was meant to go to his wife.
I love that.
I told him he owed me a podcast episode just so I would never mention it again. I believe I just failed.
Yep.
Number 9.
I don't know if you guys remember this one. It was called I'm Your Agent, Let's Talk About Sex.
Oh, Jesus.
Woo! I'm actually a little disappointed that that's only number 9, but it's okay.
No, it's still top 10, my friend. That's Ashley's episode, and I don't believe I had ever said that 3-letter word more times in my life than that particular episode.
Wait, this is perfect timing because yesterday when my coworkers and I were playing trivia at lunch, the sternum scrotum story came up.
Oh. Oh, no. I had that written down in my show notes for today. I'm so glad that you called it up so that I didn't have to say that word. My grandmother, rest her soul, she recently departed this world into her eternal life. She would be very embarrassed and probably give me a whole earful if she knew that we had done an episode like that. So I am very thankful that she never heard it. We're good.
All right, number 8.
Another one that Grandma might not have loved. A puff piece of the budding cannabis market.
Oh, she would have loved that one. No, I'm kidding. That's nice. Ooh, I love talking about cannabis. Not that I do. You know what? Okay, let's talk about that. I have a webinar that I did on cannabis, and one of the comments that stuck out to me the most in the survey afterwards, because I made the comment, I have actually never done cannabis. I can't smell cannabis. Ashley, you remember when I was in Ohio, we apparently walked through a cloud of cannabis smoke, and I had no clue. I was none the wiser. So the comment was, you should maybe have somebody teach this webinar that's experienced cannabis before. And I was like, really? That's what we're judging me on? Like, I can't deliver education because I'm not a pothead.
Yeah, you're talking about technical coverage. What does that matter?
I don't know, but it mattered to this individual. Oh my goodness. What's next? Number 7?
Next up, we have female-owned insurance agencies creating a legacy. That was the Natasha Pearl Hansen episode.
Yes. Ooh, let me pull up who were our guests on that one.
Johnny Anderson and Olivia Hine.
Yes. They are still so in the space. I love seeing them on social media. Still all female owned, all female agency. I just love a girl's girl. Oh, and let's see, one of them had their kids on That's the episode. Is that the episode where I wished my daughter a happy birthday was on the kids episode? Yes. Oh, that was the 50th episode.
Yeah.
The 50th episode was the one where we had the kids take on insurance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I love it. Okay, so that was number 7. What's number 6?
Talent shortage or talent blind?
Ooh, we just did a freaking episode on that, didn't we?
Yeah, is that? Oh, that's obviously not the same one, right?
Yeah. No, but when was that one?
This was TLC, Tracy Lee Cotton.
Yeah, but when was it?
Was that 3? Season 3?
It was season 3, episode 4.
Oh my God, look at your memory.
Well, I only say that 'cause I think that was me being a guest co-host.
It was.
Was that your co-host test?
It was.
You passed.
I mean, I don't really think I needed to be tested. Let's be serious.
Let's be serious. If anybody needed to drive this podcast, it was you in the first place. Yeah. So, I mean, obvious that topic is prolific considering that we just did it with Monica Adwani as well. Talent blind or not. I love that. I also love me some Tracy Lee Cotton, which if we're going to bring that up, I did post on Facebook not too long ago that our final episode was coming up. And let me know your most awkward moment. Of course, she did not post online, but she did give me a call and she said, I will never forget the way you made fun of my name and introduced me on your podcast, which if I can recall it without ever listening to the episode again, it was Tracy Lee Cotton, because it is the most Southern name I've ever heard in my life. And even though she is now married, congratulations to her, and it's Tracy Metters, she will always be Tracy Lee Cotton to me.
Agreed.
TLC, man.
There you go.
All right, number 5, Midway.
Number 5 is A Hard Market, an Insurance CEO's Perspective. That was Rick McCaffrey.
Yes, Hippo. Okay. All right, number 4.
So number 4 is Risque Insurance, Tattoos, Piercings, and Spas Oh My with Susan Eder.
Okay, so are we really going with risque versus risky? Is that how you say that?
Yeah, it is risque.
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 And whatever. I mean,
Risque has a K in it.
risque.
Yeah, it's risque.
Oh my God.
That was my
Okay.
absolute favorite podcast besides selfishly my own.
Let's listen.
Wait, I hope you say let's talk about this and then you proceed to not talk at all because you start laughing too much and have to mute yourself.
I'm trying not to do that right this very second as you're talking, and I can feel my cheeks getting hot already. Do you see my natural blush coming through?
Watch, I can make your face even redder.
Ooh,
Vajazzle.
it's not. What did you say?
Vajazzle.
No, that's not a thing. It is a thing,
It is
but
a
it
thing.
shouldn't be. Okay. Listen. Recently, while my grandmother was in the hospital, my cousin and her son were up there with us and made me laugh so freaking hard that it triggered asthma. And I am still dealing with that. And the first thing I thought about today was if this episode comes up, that's the first time I remember laughing so hard that it triggered an asthma event was on Susan's episode. I was puffing an inhaler for at least a week after her episode.
Okay, for those of you that are listening and can't see us, when Dustin just said, okay, and tried to connect the fact that we were just talking about vajazzling and said, when my grandmother was in the hospital,
Oh my
Mac
God.
and I both
No!
made faces at each other because we're like, where's this going?
I'm sorry, Grandma. Oh, I was saying that because you made me laugh so hard just a second ago. I wheezed.
Sorry.
I'm feeling wheezy and I don't have an inhaler. Woo, that was a hard episode to get through for me. It was not hard for you, though. Holy crap.
I feel like there's a that's what she said in there somewhere. All right. Let's move on because we need her to be able to breathe through the rest of the episode.
Wait a second.
God.
I can't handle this. Okay. What's number 3?
Number 3 is What's Legal Isn't Always Fair.
Okay. I love that episode. Ted Kinney. I was Ted Tenney. Ted Kinney. Mr. Ted Kinney. Oh my gosh. I love that episode. I wish we could use video for this because I am holding up our one and only award for the Awkward Insurance Podcast. It is an award from IMCA, which is the Insurance Marketing and Communications Association. And this says 2023 silver winner for podcast single episode, Awkward Insurance Podcast Series, What's Legal Isn't Always Fair. Oh my gosh, I absolutely adore that episode. Ashley, the way that one came about, if you don't remember, is in writing curriculum, which is my primary responsibility. I started talking to Mr. Kinney and he told me a story, a case. We were working on, I think, one of his webinars, and he told me a case study about I believe it was a foster child in his client's care, and there was an accident and the foster child passed away. And from his perspective, before we talked, he didn't feel like it was fair that the foster parents didn't get the accidental death payout, that went to the foster child's birth parents. And I had to help reshape the mindset around that parental rights hadn't been terminated. And now this parent has lost a relationship that they can't even work to get back because their child is now deceased. So we went through that, and oh my gosh, it touched my heart so much. And I'm even getting goosebumps now and even starting to feel a little emotional because I have been a foster parent and am an adoptive parent. And it was just the mindset that sometimes biological parents aren't treated the same way as foster parents are in the system. Foster parents, they get so many resources in order to take care of somebody else's child, and the biological parent is expected to just figure it out in a lot of situations. So that spoke so deeply to my heart. Oh my God, I love that episode. Yeah, I'm in love with that episode. I'm glad that's top 3. You said top 3, right?
Yep, that was number 3.
We just went from wheezing to heavy. That is the journey of awkward insurance, folks. Crazy.
What's number 2?
Number 2 is Getting Down and Dirty with David Carruthers.
Love it. I love DC. He and I text daily. I love him. He's the best. And his wife is really awesome.
Ah, nice. Number 1.
We need a drum roll?
I'm sorry. Matt could totally edit that in, but let's just go with that.
Number 1 is We Didn't Start the Fire. It was a gender reveal party. Our very first episode.
That is episode numero uno. Ash is feeling some kind of way.
You know how I feel about this. I was supposed to be episode 1. I was the first recording.
You were. But the fire content was so timely about, was it California wildfires? I hate to say that because holy crap, if that's not the same situation that we're in right now.
I know, right?
Obviously a very prolific topic. Only this particular one we did with Mary Catherine Henderson. She's with Crosspoint Insurance, was with Crosspoint Insurance. I'm not sure if she's still there or not. I'd have to Google and look her up. But here in Arkansas, but she was pregnant at the time. Mm-hmm. So of course we were talking about gender reveals because these particular fires were started by people's carelessness with pyrotechnics on a gender reveal. Who knows what today's 2024, 2025 California fires were started by. I'm sure there's lots of speculation and even probably some reports out on that right now. And in light of that, and because it was brought up, I just want to say that my heart, I know the Alliance's heart, and I don't want to speak for Ash. She can speak to her heart. Go out to anybody that is in California that is affected by those wildfires. I know that my heart extremely lies with the insurance professionals that are working to help mitigate that process right now, as well as anybody who has lost their home or has a family member that lost their home, because I know how hard that is. So just like big hearts, big love to California.
Yeah, absolutely.
Woo, I didn't cry over the podcast ending. I cried over people losing their homes. That's crazy.
No, I think that makes perfect sense. You know, I think when you listen back to that sentence, that makes sense that you would cry over that.
This episode is a roller coaster of everything. My gosh. A couple of days ago, I posted on Facebook. Awkward is having their final episode. Love to hear your comments. Send me your love. Let me run down through some of those. I want to give a shout out to Meg McKean, the therapist and personal encourager of the insurance realm, I feel like. She had some wonderful things to say about just the podcast and about anybody who knows the podcast or knows us is a better person. And I just want to like push that back on her that all you have to do is hear the name Meg McKean and you're automatically a better person. So much love to Meg McKean. Tracy Lee Cotton, now Tracy Metters, called me to talk about the way that she would never forget how I introduced her. But seriously, I also want to thank her for inviting me into her realm and inviting me to a women's retreat in Tennessee that Ashley, you were supposed to come to. So you were hopefully there in spirit with all of us. But then that brings up another person, which is Sarah Muniz. She was writing a book about women in insurance at the time, and she lives in Texas. I live in Arkansas. Tennessee is on the other side. So she decided to stop in Arkansas, park her car in the driveway of somebody that she had never actually physically met, and allow me to transport her to Tennessee, not knowing what my driving history was. She took a big risk in also accepting the first ever invite to do a live stream on Awkward Insurance Facebook page. As we were in the car on our way there, I was trying to find a great spot to stop. No great spot ever came up. And I ended up stopping in the middle of freaking nowhere. And I'm so happy to say we did not get murdered. That was amazing. Sarah is awesome. She's doing amazing things as well and just raising her fine children through college right now. We just recently had a great conversation. On our Facebook page, my long lost friend, who I didn't know was my friend, Brian Thompson with Descartes, mentioned that the most awkward part for his episode, which is called The Truth About Parametric Insurance with Brian Thompson, that was in season 5, was episode 9, was the way that I set up his introduction as a rom-com because of the way we met at the PIA Arkansas annual conference. And I just kept looking at him across the way on a lawn playing Bago. Like, I know this guy. Never mind the fact that he looks like the guy on Tim the Toolman Taylor's, the dude with the beard. What was his name?
Al.
Al. He looks like Al. I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry I just made that comparison. But I thought maybe it's just because he looks like Al. And that was one of my favorite episodes. But I just kept staring at him. And he kept inching closer until we finally were just like, do we know each other? And it was such a rom-com. I swear to God it was. And it's embarrassing to even admit that two married people felt like they were stuck in a rom-com. It was awesome though. He and I have restruck our relationship as friends from a long time ago when he was in college and I was still in high school. He worked at a movie theater and my dad worked there at the same time. So it was weird. It even sounds weird coming out of my mouth still, but let's move forward. Another person says, what I loved most about the podcast was just how genuine and authentic we are. And I would be remiss if I didn't also mention that my husband says he loved all the ones that were hosted by me.
He loved them or thought they were awkward?
He said loved. I'm going to go with loved.
Okay.
All the ones that were hosted by me. And of course, we brought up Susan Etter. And we can tell you what's awkward about that one, but I think we've hit on it enough. Oh, that was crazy. Anything left to say? Any favorite thoughts or episodes as we wrap this up?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to try really hard not to cry.
Nuh-uh. Nope, we're not doing it. I'm muting.
And you know me, I don't cry a lot, but kind of sometimes I do. I just have to say, I'm going to cry. I just have to say that if it weren't for this podcast, there were a lot of factors that came into play. I get that. You starting at the National Alliance, those types of things. But like, if it weren't for you reaching out to me and saying, hey, the National Alliance wants to do this podcast, and they said I should start with, CSR of the year winners. So let's connect. You have become like one of my best friends. So, and I know I can rely on you for anything. here it goes. You're gonna have to cut this out. So I just have to let you know how much I appreciate you and how glad I am that, this whole thing came about. Because even if I wasn't your co-host, we were still close by that point. So you mean a lot to me. And my only goal today was to make you cry, but I was going to try to do it without me crying. That didn't work.
No, it did not work, but you achieved your goal.
Yes. And I mean, even Mac, like Mac just came and hung out with me.
Yeah.
Without you there at our like next gen event. Like it was so easy. Like he's just so easy to be around. It was fun. Like it's just, the people that this has brought into my life, pretty much just you two. I mean, I love you both, and I'm gonna be sad, and maybe we should just get on, Riverside someday just for fun by ourselves and catch up.
I don't disagree with that. Ashley, I love you into a million pieces. I'm so glad that this journey brought you into my life. I'm so proud of everything that you're going through and how strong you are. I'm happy to have you as a friend, and I am honored that you call me your friend because I'm insane. And you invited me, I'll say like awkward moments. You invited me to your OIA leadership, which is coming up again. What are the dates for that?
March 18th and 19th.
And I totally screwed the pooch. Like I had a whole thing, practiced it. I was doing great, and then got in front of your audience and just lost my composure. It was awful. But that is the awkward moments of life. Thank you for all the chances that you've taken on me to do things like that, to invite me into your space, to teach some of your courses at OIA. I've truly enjoyed it. So thank you for what you just had to say. Shoot. All right. Anything from you, Mac?
Yeah, let me follow all of that. That'd be great. I don't know, as far as reflecting back on everything and thinking about the podcast, it seems crazy that 4.5 years ago they said we hired some lady in Arkansas and she's got a lot of energy. I think you should do a podcast.
I've never heard that side of the story before. What's it got to do with Arkansas? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, no, you were not going to be coming into the podcast studio we just built.
That's true. We do have a whole podcast studio that doesn't get used.
But, since basically mid 2020, this and you have been the largest part of my job, and it's been so much fun. It's gone by so quickly.
Oh my God.
We got to do so much stuff. We got to hang out a bunch, even though I'm in Texas and you're in Arkansas. We've gotten to travel a lot. We've gotten to build something and create something that was really fun. And it's going to be, work's going to definitely go a little slower now that we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah. To follow you, let me tell you about one of my most favorite times with Mac.
Uh-oh.
One of my most favorite times with you, Mac, is watching you at Michigan Young Agents Association deliver your message, your webinar, if you will, but it wasn't a webinar, it was in person, but your education on how to start a podcast for insurance professionals. I loved getting to watch you use your knowledge and your expertise outside of just doing what it was you did. And you found yourself, and I think you did it another time after that too, didn't you?
He did it for me.
Yes. You did it for OIA. That's what you were referencing when you said Mac hanging out with you at OIA. Yeah, that was amazing. And I would have loved to have watched you do it 1,000 more times. And I would have loved to have seen podcasts that evolved from your expertise in that area. To that end, I also want to say that you have become a great friend to me. You have been the best travel buddy ever. This sucks. You have so much to say, and I wish you would have said more on our episodes, to be honest. Another favorite memory of mine is being at the risk management RIMS Risk World Challenge
Hmm.
and having you sit right beside me as we were watching those students give their risk management pitches, and you kept texting me questions. And what was my most favorite moment about that was that the judges asked the same questions to the kids that were up there giving their pitches. I'm like, you are so smart. Like, you were on point with everything those judges needed to ask in order to challenge those kids. And I loved that moment too. I could not have done the podcast without you, mainly because I would just look at you sometimes and you'd be like, it's fine. Everything's fine. You're fine. When you're probably like, this is shit. So thank you for being there. Thank you for being you. Um, yeah. Thanks for being here, producer Mac.
Happy to be here and happy to be your friend, and sad this is all ending.
Sad and happy at the same time, because all good things must come to an end. And just like if you're from the South, you know that we talk about life in the form of seasons, and seasons can't last forever. So very fitting that we transitioned to seasons, and now we're talking about a season coming to an end. And just like that,
Wait,
here comes.
wait.
Go ahead. Okay.
I just got a text message from one of my
No.
friends that I made when I lived in my building, and she said, Ash Fitz, your Insta story made me think you'd be a good person to ask for tips, but my friend and I kind of want to start a podcast, and I was wondering how you got yours started in the beginning. Aw, that's what, talk about timing.
I know, isn't it weird the way the universe works?
Now continue.
Oh my goodness. Yes, do it. Okay. Just like that, here comes the bittersweet moment where we awkwardly say our last toodles to those who have been on this journey with us and those who may find us after the fact. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm so glad you were here for it. Toodles, everybody.
Bye, everybody.